Hello everyone. I'm going to give you a few tips on delivery driving. I haven't been working very long here, just 2 months, but I think I've learned a lot of useful things that would probably help new delivery drivers. So I have to keep my windows open kind of today because my van smells like spaghetti. I think because it's new, it's got hardly any kilometers on it. So fake spaghetti. Just terrible. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a list of all the different things I can think of. So when I first arrived, I just started up, turned the flashers on, put the windows down. So we're supposed to do. And then I do a checkup on the car. That is basically it. I just do a checkup in the morning and then yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Check up and then go pick up the packages in 20 minutes, around 20 minutes. I get here early, so I just get to sit here and wait for everyone else to check ups. It's nice. can't breathe these masks. Looks horrible. Like
Box 4900, Markham, Ontario, L3R 6G9, or call toll free 1-800-323-3747. 1-800-323-3747. Making a difference, KARI. The following program is sponsored by Insight for Living. Thank you for joining us for today's Insight for Living Bible teaching broadcast. Here at Insight for Living Canada, we want to make sure you can catch the broadcast, even when the time is...
There we go. I'm working on trying to make my stops as fast as possible. Less than a minute. Sometimes you can't do less than a minute because you need to talk to people or customers. They are very slow sometimes. But when it's just houses, then compete with yourself. Can't even see. These are very bad roads. Can't see. So today I think I have a better route. I hated apartments. Apartments are so slow. And today I have, well, it's starting out. I hope I don't get it. But I like it when it's just houses because then you can just jump out of the car, drop the package off, jump back in. But at houses, you have a different case because, or apartments, I mean, because you have to wait for the customers to come, and it takes a long time sometimes. Anyway, let's see if I can do this. I guess that's not exactly true. You have to do a few things when you get out. You can't just drop it off. I have to put it somewhere safe, decide where a safe spot, and then take a picture, tell I delivered it to this device, and then ring the doorbell and run. But yeah, sometimes if there's not a safe place or if it's wet outside, I'll ring the doorbell and wait for someone to come out. But most of the time I'm just it's really fast. That's why I like these houses so much. 8:45. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm doing all the time, just jumping in and out of the vehicle over and over and over again all day. What's going on here? And GPS can be extremely annoying. Okay, because it doesn't always tell me where I'm supposed to go. It gets very mixed up. There we go. Okay. Off we go. That's about it. First off, it's extremely mental. Like I've found when you first start out, you get really overwhelmed. It can be stressful. So one of the tips they gave me was not to don't look at the number of packages. Like I was getting 190 packages and I was freaking out whenever I saw that number. And then I started, they said, so don't look at the package number, look at the stops, the number of stops, and just ignore the number of packages because there's going to be several packages for each stop sometimes. And then when I start out, I will kind of see how many stops I can get done before first break, and first break I will take it in 4 hours. Mentally, that really helps because you have a shorter goal. Like you realize all you have to, like say I have 110 stops, I want to try to get, I set a goal to get 60 done by 4 p.m. because I start at 12. So that's like over half of them obviously, but I think making that goal really helps me mentally, just to not focus on the whole day, you know. So sometimes I'll make records, which can be fun when you can make a record for yourself. I started in the winter, so another tip I was thinking, like, to stay warm, shoes are extremely good, boots, waterproof boots are extremely important. And then also I wear a back brace, and just to help me keep good posture, because you can start to really slouch while you're driving, and it just reminds me to keep good posture. But also because it's winter, it keeps my core very warm, and then I don't get as cold even though I'm not maybe wearing tons on over here. Yeah, so I just would make sure to wear that every day, and then I can kind of alternate between jackets and sweaters. And then the next thing is those plastic gloves. I don't know, maybe these aren't every warehouse, but these plastic gloves, they keep your hands, they're just thin, but you know, when you put these on, your hands start to sweat a bit, and if you can get past that sweaty hand feel, these actually keep you quite warm during the day, and I find they help a ton. They also are somewhat protective, so I like that. Another one is stay hydrated. It's so important. Like, I try to take 2 liters of water with me every day and drink at least half of that, over half of that. And that keeps you, like, there's not much time to eat. So, like right now I'm talking instead of eating. But you don't really feel like eating when you're running around. So I take water, and water really helps. It keeps you less hungry, gives you lots of energy, and makes things easier all around. So one thing that the trainers told me that I was like, is probably very obvious, but when you have apartments and you have like a whole load of packages, boxes, envelopes, you know, I was taking the dolly, but sometimes you don't have a dolly. And even when you do have a dolly, the dolly doesn't really carry small boxes very well when you have a ton of them. So this is obvious, but I didn't realize it until they told me, is take one of your bags and fill up the bag and drag it. But it helps way better than just trying to carry a whole armload of packages, and that'll make things a lot. It's a really helpful tip for apartments, because we all hate apartments so much, is when you can't get the owner on the call, like on the buzzer, and you're calling them and they're not answering. What you can do, and this is a tip someone else showed me, which is extremely helpful, is you can, if it's not always, doesn't always work, but you can look to see if the neighbor next door, what their number is, like say 102, look to see if 103, you can buzz 103, and then just tell them that their neighbor is, you have a delivery for their neighbor and they're not answering, and is it possible that you could buzz me in? And I think, yeah, I've never had anyone refuse. Sometimes they'll come down and actually escort you. But that helps so much. Then you don't have to try again later or end up bringing the package home. And I find, yeah, that's just, people are actually a lot more willing to help than you'd imagine. Another one is something I came up with, which probably lots of people do, but I don't know. When I was starting out, I was just like, every time I'd come to a package, I would grab the bag and start digging through it to try to find the package, and then once I found it, I'd run off and deliver it. But now every time I start the day, I will take the bag, I will empty it completely, fold the bag, put it away, and then lay out all the boxes so that the addresses are facing up, none of them are stacked on each other, and then put all the envelopes in a row, so all the addresses are facing towards me. I'll show you later. And then that way when you open the door, your eyes are way faster than your hands, so you can just look quickly over all the packages, grab it and run. And that has sped me up so fast, rather than digging, constantly trying to find the package. Here's a quick look at how I stack my parcels. I put them all like this. Like, obviously there's usually way more, but this bag had just a few, so I stack it. I kind of put them all, organize them. So I put them all, organize them all like that. I put the plastic bags all together. There's only one this time. So when it says plastic, I just know to look at the plastic bags, and I put all the boxes like this. So I can just open the door, look fast, rather than digging through all the bags, you know, digging through the box to look for the address. I just have to glance. Usually I just open the door, look, grab it. It's very fast. So my biggest fear with apartments or anything, I think, is where do I park? Like, when you think of residential areas, pretty easy, because there's usually a lot of spots to park. But what I look for, like apartments, there's just not much you can do about that. I kind of try to park in the loading zone if there is one. But on like streets where there's houses side by side, I found most driveways are wide enough so that if you there's a little space between each driveway. It's not very big, sometimes it's like this big, but there's enough space if you put that in the center of your vehicle, and so the front of your vehicle is partly on the one driveway and the back of your vehicle is partly on the second driveway. So that's actually enough space if someone wants to pull out behind you or in front of you. And I found that one helps a lot, because there's pretty much one of those spaces everywhere, and no one wants to park there because it's not very, I don't know, no one wants to park there. So I find that helped me a lot with parking, because we're not allowed, well, we're not really supposed to park in driveways, because then you have to back up, and then that's not considered safe. Less backing up the better. Sometimes the driver is really long, very long, and you don't want to have to walk the whole way up, so that's okay, I think, to park in a driveway, but generally it's better not to park in a driveway. And lots of people say, where do you go to the bathroom? Like, lots of people ask, and just use the Google map on your Rabbit and look for a gas station or A&W's or McDonald's or something, and there's usually one almost, like, it's hard if you're in the country, delivering in the country, because as women you can't just, you know, go anywhere. But yeah, gas stations or fast food restaurants, that's where I use it. And I've learned if you drink at certain times of the day, it's better, like, try to drink during work, then after work you can maybe hold it till then, and then you kind of get one thing that really helped me while I was working is using a clip like this for my key, because I was like, you always have to take your key out, always take your key out, because you don't want anyone jumping in the van and stealing it afterwards. But I was like holding my key, holding the Rabbit, holding the package, and it was just too much. So I came up with this where I just clip it to my belt here, and it's fine driving around like that, works just fine. You never can get out of the car without taking this, or you'll be stuck. So I always, yeah, I thought that was a good one for me to share. Oh, and another nice tip is when you go on break, just always remember to charge your Rabbit, even if it doesn't need it, even if it's not low. You will be so happy you did later on, because I don't mind using the bank, but like if you put the charging bank, you plug the charging bank in, then you have to put the charging bank in your pocket, and you're carrying it around all over the place, the wires, you're tripping on the wire or catching it on things. So I can actually, in an 8-hour shift, I can usually make it without using the bank if I charge it during my break, which I'm doing right now, charging. It's at 49. So yeah, if fast charge, then usually you can make it last the whole shift. Another one is something they probably teach everyone in the class, is first in for last out. So I really like to do that with my van. So with my packages, I will make it so all of my bags are so that I can use the side door, and then all the boxes are at the back, because I don't like going all the way to the back for boxes, or the packages in the bags. So yeah, that helps a lot, just to organize it so that you can just efficiently grab it all from the side. And like I said before, laying all the packages out, all of that just speeds you up so much faster. Another thing for the people who work late night shifts, the flashlights that they give, they don't really, I don't know, they don't work for me. So I use they're giving out headlights. I don't know if every company does this. And these are really, like, they changed everything, because they're long distance. You can stand at the end of the driveway almost and see the address. And that, like, even if they don't give you these, I would say that would be an extremely helpful thing to buy for yourself personally, because yeah, it makes things way faster. And flashlights, I don't even bother with them. They're not, you're just kind of staring and trying, or even the phone flashlight. It's, yeah, flashlight does not work. So headlights. So there's just two more things I thought I should mention. One of them is before you arrive at the apartment, this is really helpful for apartments, is to send a message that says, "Hi, I'm 3 minutes away," or 2 minutes, however much time you need, with your package. Would you like to meet me at the front, or is there somewhere safe I can leave it? So many people do want you to bring it to the door, like to the inside, which takes a long time, which a lot of us don't like, but there are many who will actually come to the front and meet you there. And I just love it when I drive up, and because I texted them, they'll be right there just when I get there, and I can just give the package and go. So, and sometimes like if there's like a whole bunch of customers, I've had it that almost all of them will come down. Not everyone does, but like they'll just tell you, yeah, buzz this number or something. But also, even if they don't come to the front, it just kind of alerts them to be ready for you to buzz you in, because sometimes they're away from home. Or the last one is, if you have an apartment, there's so many times, I think if it's like a previous delivery and, oh no, it's the address. If the customer writes the address down a little differently, like puts an abbreviation differently, it'll make that a separate stop rather than putting all of the apartments together, which can be really frustrating, because if you run and grab that parcel for the apartment and you go in, then come out again, you realize that there was another one for that apartment that you should have done, and so you just waste time going back and forth. I've had, I think, 3, maybe even 4 times it's separated the stops into different stops. So one way you can fix that is some people will just go and look on the map and see how many stops it says for that building, and sometimes the stops will be just kind of a little separated because it is recorded them differently. So what you can do though, and it works 95% of the time, is you can go to underneath when you said I've parked, you can go to underneath the package and it will say add stops. There will be a little plus sign, add stops to this location or to this delivery. Yeah. And so you just press that, and then it will show all of the next stops you have, and you just pick out the ones that are the same address, and it just groups them all together, and you can see which packages to grab, and you can even text the customers all from that thing. So I really liked that one. I hope you enjoyed these tips, and maybe I'll see you guys later. If you have any questions, just put them down there and I'll see if I can answer them.